Wholeness. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Rashida Silvertree, and today's topic we're going to talk about faith. How to let go without closure. That's very difficult to do. We are programmed when it comes to cycles and seasons and time. We're programmed at a very young age to look at things in a very linear way. The beginning, middle, and end. Okay? And within that story, okay, because we look at reality like a story, beginning, middle, and end, we have the climax. Right? We have that high point of the story where everything comes to a head. Whether that be conflict, that be an event, something big happens, an explosion, right? It's actually quite sensual in a way. It's actually a great example of intimacy or physical intimacy and how that works, right? You had the beginning, the middle, the climax, and the end. And I don't know why that came to mind, but it did. So we're programmed to have endings, to have closures to our stories. And leaving stories open-ended is it's almost taboo, but it actually grabs the reader. You know, it grabs an audience a lot more, and it allows them, it opens up their imagination, right? It allows when there's an open-ended ending, okay. When there's no ending to a story, right? A story doesn't have an ending. There's no closure. Things feel left up in the air. It's almost like it's a beginning. Isn't that odd? So, in life, sometimes, and I guess this deals with relationships more than anything else, because usually if we're moving to a new place, okay, the lease, we have to close out the lease. All right, we have to pack up our things. There's a big, like, physical. It's very physical. Leaving a job, you put in your 2-week notice, right? Or graduation, you're graduating from college or graduating from high school. So there's a huge ceremony. There's a huge ritual, right? Humans are very ritualistic. We're so ritualistic that everyday things of life, like graduations or what's another one? Birthdays and things like that. It's all ritual, okay? But when it comes to emotional closure, that's something human beings really struggle with. I've struggled with continuously because I'm a very emotional, sentient person, right? And I mean, personally, I just am. I don't know. I'm very empathic. I would say if someone's crying in front of me and I'm tuning into their energy, I'll start crying. I'll get emotional. You know, it's like or if someone's angry, I feel their anger. Like yeah, another video. But how do we move? How do we let things go without emotional closure? It's a very difficult one because we want so much to have the endings. Again, it ties into projection. We project the end result to be a certain way. And when that is unfulfilled, we are left vulnerable. It's almost literally like someone says, okay, here is the story of Wizard of Oz. So we take the story, we know the story already. We've been told the story, we watched the movie, and then we have the book, and the book is given to us, and someone says, I need you to read this from beginning, middle to end. And you're like, okay. So you're reading it, and you get towards the end of the book, and someone's ripped out the last chapter. And you're like, you're like, hey, well, wait, what's going on here? And this is how you can get over this, over that emotional, I don't want to cuss on here, but I will. Emotional fuckery, okay? um, this is how you can like recover. When there is an event or a relationship that feels open-ended, right? There, when you can actually, that's almost, it's the universe telling you that you can create your own ending. The universe is having you switch gears a little bit. Let go of the original ending that you projected and you created in your mind. You created and wrote out this narrative, the story, the play in your head, and you attached yourself to that end result, and then you projected that onto the situation with the person or with the relationship, and now you're expecting the end result, and the universe is saying ha ha ha, and it rips out the last chapter of your book, you know. And so the universe is asking you, hey, rewrite the ending. And you're like, excuse me? And the universe is saying, rewrite the ending. And you're like, but the ending was supposed to be this way. Everything was supposed to go in this direction. I was supposed to receive this person was supposed to give this, or this person was supposed to receive this from me, and it didn't happen. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? And we get angry, okay? We begin to project onto anyone who will listen. Like, oh, I'm wrong, I did something wrong, or oh, that person did something wrong. No. Here's another thing, because it has you expand. It activates the faith frequency in us, because faith is all about non-attachment. Faith is about believing in pure potentiality and allowing the magic of what is to step in, because sometimes we overstep egoically. We'll overstep the magic of the universe, the magic of God, and what's really meant for us. We'll literally block out the ending we're supposed to experience because we want to control it. We want to have our ego wants this so bad. And that can disrupt something, and it causes ripple effects throughout the universe, throughout our reality, and throughout ourselves. So when we get out of the universe is like, hey, can you please, I'm asking kindly if you can get the F out of the way. You can still co-create, but I'm needing you to like let your story go, let your end result go, and I would like you to co-create with me. When we don't receive the endings that we want to our story or to a story, the universe is asking us to become a co-creator again. We stop co-creating with the universe when it's all about what we want. And it stops being about what is. I'm a person that I struggle sometimes. Personally, I'm going to share this with you. I struggle sometimes with the difference between my needs, wants, desires, and priorities. This is something a truth that, or maybe a weakness that I have, that I'm constantly actively, like, I even have to write notes on this, write like a diagram, needs, wants, or priorities, needs, wants, desires. Like I have to like literally categorize, write out these things so that I can clearly see what I'm doing. Right? And sometimes we lose sight that we're co-creating with God. that we're instruments of the higher power. We're just instruments. And so what I'm saying is, to get over that hurt that you may feel because you didn't get what you thought you needed or wanted or desired, or what you thought was a priority, it hurts. It hurts a lot. But when you choose to open yourself up to pure potentiality and you say, okay, God, okay, universe, okay, higher self, okay, heart, okay, mind, I'm going to rewrite the story. I'm going to rewrite the ending to the story. And then that unlocks the faith frequency, that unlocks the faith vibration. You're not in jail anymore. A lot of the time we're not even aware that we become prisoners of our own story. We become interlocked on repeat too. And I think that that's a certain kind of hell. And it's when we break out of that linear paradigm and begin to look at things in a cyclical way. Like I mentioned before, lovemaking with human beings is very beginning, climax, and okay. It's very much like that. It's just, because it's primarily to, procreate. That's just in our human DNA, in our biology. But I feel intuitively that the evolution of human consciousness is pulling us in the direction where we begin to make love in a cyclical way. We're beginning, middle, end, beginning, climax, end, midpoint of the story. Everything becomes one. And we have access to any and all points. We limit our access when it's linear. Beginning, middle, end. Or beginning, climax, end. And I'm not saying, mentioning lovemaking it's more than just physical, okay? It's more than just physical. It's a feminine approach to co-creating the stories in our lives. Being okay that the ending doesn't end how we wrote it from the beginning. That is what we're being asked to do. And that will open faith to you and you to faith. And that will thus deepen the connection, spiritual connection, whatever you may call your God. I don't know. That's between you and whatever else. But I find that this way to go about it is very profound and freeing. Because when you open yourself to pure potentiality and you open yourself to the magic of God, you allow yourself to be surprised. I love surprises. And sometimes those surprises are not very good. Sometimes those surprises are not very, you're just kind of like, oh, okay, yep, all right, that's fine, right? It hurts. But it's a hurt that once you begin to understand, you let go. You let things go without closure. And that's what I'm going to leave with you. Thank you so much for tuning into this message. May this message find you well and whole.